Hello and welcome to another video. In this one, I'm going to be discussing the movie Prey, as we recently got a 4K Blu-ray release of it. I want to go over my thoughts on the movie, kind of give a review on that, as well as discuss the release and the 4K Blu-ray. So let's get ready to jump in. So this is the released 4K Blu-ray that we got just a week or so ago. I really like it. It's got a nice slipcover to it. There's also a steelbook that came out for it as well, but I just wanted to go with the regular release, save a little bit of money. I like how they did the 4K branding logo on it. I like the artwork that's on the front. It's kind of like a matte finish with some iridescence to it at the same time. And then on the back, just some pictures and some information on the special features and stuff that's on here. So we have a making of Prey, so it's about a 12-minute featurette going behind the scenes of how they made the movie, that kind of thing that I really appreciated. And then you got the FYC panel with the cast and crew. So I really enjoyed checking that out and getting to hear them just discuss the movie, how they made it, they put it together, that kind of thing. And then there's some deleted scenes and an alternate opening, as well as an audio commentary with the director and some of the actors, and I think one of the producers maybe on it too. So I've not had a chance to check out the commentary, but I did check out everything else and really liked it. As well, we also have not only the original English version of the movie, but we have the Comanche dub, which when I first watched this back on Hulu, I actually watched it in the Comanche dub. And now, second time through it, when I watched it just this past week, I watched the English version of the movie just to kind of see where I would land on the differences between the two. And I really would argue either side as far as the audio dub goes. I think there's certain scenes that the Comanche dub is more natural feeling. When you're watching the movie in English, you're within the world of the Comanche people speaking the Comanche language, and then there'll be sequences with like French people, and they won't translate it because you're within the culture of the Comanche, so they don't understand, so you don't understand. So that kind of makes it a little bit disjarring at times, because even though, you know, it's easier to have the English, it's not as culturally relevant when you're going with the different combined cultures. So I think in certain instances, the Comanche dub is at least worth checking out once, if not, you know, the regular go-to version of it. But I think the English performances are really good as well. The really cool thing with it is the movie's Comanche dub was done by all the same actors. So it's the same performances, just in a different language. So you're just going to have, you know, the lips out of sync, that kind of thing. But that's besides the fact I talked way too long on that. But like I said, would go either way on the dub here, whether you're watching the original English or the Comanche version. And then going into the movie itself, I want to talk first about the audio experience, as we're kind of talking about the Blu-ray as well. I have a really nice surround sound system that I thought did great. There was multiple moments of this musical cue that was like a deep bellowing cello that sounded really good. And then being just a Native American culture, the soundtrack was great. I've listened to it on my own. I've listened to it, obviously, in the movie a couple of times now, and it sounds great if you have a good surround sound system. So I think you'll definitely appreciate the work that went into the music there. And then besides that, the sound design. All the cultural stuff's really good with the native stuff, but when it comes to the Predator, that's always a joy to experience with surround sound. If you're familiar with Predator movies, you know that the Predator is often not seen on screen, and you hear it more than you see it because of the different signals, the clicking and that kind of stuff that it makes. And so having a nice surround sound system really enhances that experience of watching this movie. And I think the surround track that they did, I don't know what kind of surround track is on it, if it's an Atmos one or just a 5.1 or whatever, but it sounded great on my system, and I really appreciated the work that went into, you know, making a good surround track for this. And then besides that, filmmaking wise, they do a great job just capturing the beauty of the countryside during this time period. All of the mountains, the valleys, the ranges, all that kind of stuff looks amazing. And I think the Blu-ray probably looks even better than the stream would look, especially the 4K one. And I don't even have an OLED TV, but I thought it was just such an immersive experience getting to follow these characters on this journey in their culture throughout these regions, and it's such a joy to experience that almost documentary sense in those landscapes, because they filmed a lot of this on location, and it truly shows and really enhances the movie with that. Performance-wise, we have good performances all around. Amber Midthunder is the standout as the main character, and I think she does a great job not only conveying her performance through her dialogue, because there's not a ton of dialogue in this movie. There's definitely conversations and speaking. It's not as much as something like No One Will Save You, but at the same time, so much is communicated visually through body language or some forms of sign language that they have as well for communicating. And I think she just does a really good job giving that well-roundedness to what she's capable of doing as a character. And I think Amber Midthunder really put in the work on it. And not only her, but the rest of the cast as well. I believe they went through at least a few weeks, if not a few months of training to better understand the culture of Native Americans, their fighting styles, just different day-to-day life things. And I think it really pays off well, because you really feel like you're just witnessing these people doing these things. And then you throw in the sci-fi element with a predator in there, it just makes it a really entertaining, fun watch. So when you get to that, you get tons of great action. There's some amazing action sequences. I will say, watching this movie a second time, I noticed a little bit more that, not that the movie's got a bad beginning, but it takes a little bit to get going. I was always invested and interested in what was happening, and I could feel that they were slowly building up that tension before we reached that breaking point where it goes into just full-on action sci-fi with the Predator fights. But maybe it'll not be as noticeable on a third viewing for me, but I did notice a little bit of that, just taking a little bit of time to get going, because they do have to introduce the characters. Like I said, I was invested in all of it, but it felt like a little while longer than I had remembered for this movie to get moving. So it was nothing that really impacted the movie too much for me, but it's worth mentioning as I noticed it. But all around, I just really am happy that we finally have this movie on Blu-ray. I'm glad they actually put the work in, gave us some bonus features, some behind the scenes stuff, a director's commentary. They included the different language dubs on here. It looks great. It sounds great. And I'm just happy to have this in my collection and know that it's mine, and I don't have to have a streaming service in order to check it out. So hopefully it's the first of many more releases that Disney is going to be doing through Hulu, or even some more other Disney Plus shows that we found out about lately. So that's my review of sorts and discussion on the Prey movie, as well as that Blu-ray that came out recently. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking around to the end. I will see you in the next one.